Welcome to Connecting Business. It isn't just a name, it's the very mission of Kinetic Business by Windstream. I'm your host, Christina Munoz. Today, business success relies on making the right connections with subject matter experts over a variety of business topics. That's where Connecting Business comes in. We'll make those connections for you. We'll tap into the personal insights and professional experiences of those experts and explore how your business can better connect with your own customers, as well as craft solutions to fit your business needs to respond to opportunities faster, more efficiently, and with greater productivity. Thank you for joining us. And now let's get started connecting business. Today, I want to introduce you to Renee Sobotka. I've been trying to practice that name to say it right. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Renee.
Thanks for having me. This is great. I really appreciate it.
So excited because we connected with you originally as a customer of Kinetic Business, but you have such a fantastic story to share and you're so inspiring. And so I want everyone to hear and kind of learn about you and your story and your success. And it really can be motivating and inspiring to other people. So tell us about where you are. You're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and you now have True North Technologies, founded in 2019. But take us back, and where did you grow up, and how did you get back to Nebraska?
Sure. Yeah. I grew up in West Point, Nebraska, which is a pretty small town. I went to the University of Nebraska here in Lincoln. I graduated with a finance degree and went on to do some internal audit at Union Pacific. That was a great experience. Got to even do some supervising towards the end of that. And then I moved on to banking, wanted to start a family. So the commute from Lincoln was just a little bit too much time out of my life. So I got a position in Lincoln and was doing financial reporting, accounting. I got to implement some new software. I got to do a new wire system and a new data warehousing system. So I do kind of like technology. That's kind of always been at the base of everything else. So even though I'm a numbers person, I really do like software too.
Well, it's so cool because those industries can sometimes be a little less social, and you are very social and you're ready kind of for something else. But take us through when you get married and have kids, and for a lot of us working women, it changes everything, and making that decision to be with them for that season of your life.
Right. Yep. I did end up having two kids. I have a daughter and a son. They're now 14 and 12. But when I was working full time, it was a difficult balance. So I can definitely relate to all the moms out there that are trying to have that great work-life balance. I don't think you ever stop feeling guilty. You're either not doing a good job at work or you're not doing a good enough job at home.
You are so right.
I guess I was fortunate enough to be able to go to like a part-time status, and then even to stay-home mom full-time for about 4 years. I think people like to call it CEO of the household. So it was a wonderful experience. I got a lot of memories made with my kids. I'll never forget that time with them, but it wasn't easy. It was, kind of a thankless job. And I just kind of missed that great positive feedback when you're, doing something for your boss and they love what you did. And it's just a different feeling. So it was definitely time to go back to work when my son started kindergarten. So
you were probably ready for it, and it's so hard. We have our identity in our work, but we want to be there for our kids, and so we moms understand. We really do, and so it's great advice for hear you say you can go back. It's not the end. You took a time off, and you went back, and so tell us about what life was like for you when you went back, and now you're kind of balancing the mom thing.
Right. Yep. I went back and I found a position that I could be 3/4 time, still take the kids to school and pick them up. But I was back to doing what I loved. I was doing financial reporting again. I was able to sort of implement a couple new software systems as well, and just was able to streamline the whole entire process, make it pretty simple and easy to a point where it maybe got to be a little bit too easy for me. I was just kind of coasting. I could hit the play button and month end almost happened on its own. So it was time for me to, look at maybe kind of moving on to a different position, or, maybe going out, maybe doing something for myself. And then my dad passed away. That was about 3 years ago. And that was really kind of a turning point in my life. I probably wouldn't be here today talking to you if that hadn't happened. So I try to look at, it was a directional change for me. He was just so well liked in the community, and everybody couldn't stop talking about, his work and, the relationships that he built with families when he built their homes. And my mom also worked at a small business. They owned the lumber yard in town. And I love small business. I love the way that community always pulls together. It's a completely different feeling than some of the experiences I've had in a bigger city. So I really do want to make sure that small business thrives.
So you really had the influence of small business and the impact that it can have on people. And it's so precious to me because I lost my dad shortly after I moved to Arkansas. And he did. He always said, I gave you roots and wings. Go chase your dreams. Go. And I wanted to be closer, and it was hard, and he was ill. And so I really love that and find that so inspiring. It's kind of that life is short thing. If you have a goal, you don't want to just keep waking up and doing the same thing again and again and again. And so how did you get out of the same thing every day and take that scary leap?
Right. Well, I guess it started when I bought a duplex. It was a wonderful deal for me. And I thought, this is such a great business model. I went to real estate meetings, and I wanted to start building on that business. And it was when all the entrepreneur side of me really kicked in. I think it was always there, but I just knew that I wanted to work for myself. I set a goal that I would work for myself by the time I was 40. I made a calendar reminder, and when that would pop up every day, I just looked at it and dismissed it, not knowing what I was going to do. But it was fun to like have that part of me back. It was like this new challenge. Life just wasn't easy peasy when you thought about starting a business. There's a lot of hurdles that you have to jump. And one of which is, I think, something that might stop other people from starting a business. They're worried about, what am I going to do for healthcare?
Huge issue, huge concern.
So, I just think every day I tried to, look at one part of that change and what I could do to make the leap. But eventually I found the app development software that I didn't need to be a programmer. It was something that I could develop and publish an app for a business to help them sell more, create more loyalty with their customers, and inevitably just compete with those franchises out there that are offering their apps and the convenience of that to their customers. So I just thought, this is going to really take off. But I have found in Lincoln, Nebraska, that it is a little easier to sell a website than it is to sell apps, but we're still here. We can still do those apps. And I think people will come to that realization that they need to, be one of the forefront leaders of moving on to new technology. And that's how people will thrive. You do need to stay relevant with what customers are expecting. So.
Well, very cool. I want everyone to hear those things that you said when you said you set a goal. That's huge. And then you had accountability by typing it into your phone, getting this reminder daily to go, I need to do this. But then you also took the time to do your research, whether it's healthcare, health insurance. I think that was the biggest hindrance for me before I jumped out of my own, because you just don't know. And there's a lot of fear that goes with that. But you don't let the fear, keep you down. You figure it out. You ask the questions. You take the time to figure it out. And you've obviously done that. So kudos to you. So True North Technologies, where did the name come from? And it's a very competitive industry. So how do you set yourself apart as better or different?
Well, the name came from an article that I read. It was about finding your true north. And if you make all of your decisions based on your values, then inevitably you will get on the path to finding your true north. And that just stuck with me for a long time. I read that article before my dad even passed away, but I just think there was little things all along the way that it came together when I started the company, and I knew right away what the name had to be. I didn't deliberate on that at all. So with that, there's a lot of things that we try to do for our customers. We try to help our customers stick to their values, and we try to find out what's really important to them, and really convey that in our websites. And I think that's something that sets us apart. We do make sure to really get to know our customers and make them personal. So, and then the mobile app development is something that also sets us apart, because a lot of web development agencies don't get into that. So I can pretty much go into any room and be the only app developer there at all the networking events that I go to. So it's pretty cool to have that. And we actually just launched a new technology. It's MMS texting, and it comes with a picture, multimedia picture. So that's something nobody else in Nebraska is doing right now. And so I'm really excited about that tap on it technology.
Wow, congrats. That sounds so cool. And anytime you can be the first at something, that's huge for business. So
Yeah,
very cool.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So you're doing great. You're in it about a year. It's now February 2020, and then COVID hit. So take us through what that was like for you. Every business has somehow been affected, but how did it impact you?
Well, I just got to work. I was scared. I was just like any other business owner out there. I was kind of in panic mode. I sold a website at bargain basement price just to make sure that I could keep my web developer busy. And then I actually got really sick. I was down and out for about 2 weeks. I really could not work or anything and had pneumonia. So I don't know if that was COVID or not, but I was really sick conveniently. So when I got better, it was I was working with a business coach, and we were working on like, how do you create value within your company, something that would be worth selling at some point. And me being the center of everything, the salesperson, the working on projects, teaching people how to use them, I needed help. There was no way I was going to be able to like continue on with that business model and with sustain it. So I knew it was time to hire some people. So I thought this was actually maybe a good time. There would be people out there that had, maybe unfortunately lost their job, but I would maybe be able to hire at not the same price that I was before COVID. So I tried to look at it as just maybe an opportunity to find the right person. And so I started my interviewing process with my office suite meetings. And I did hire like one of the most amazing people ever. She's now my COO, and I'm just so lucky to have her. And through her, I've met other people that we've hired on, and we've just kind of taken off. We've grown significantly since COVID started. So being in the tech world right now is a great space, because everybody needs to have an online presence. They need to be found. We're really working hard to help other businesses with their search engine optimization. And I think that's something that we're really strong in. I have an amazing employee that is so smart at SEO. So it's great.
Oh my goodness, that's so great and so helpful for businesses. And you became, a light, a help in a very dark time. People didn't have jobs, they were getting laid off. How did you find, this great talent? How did you go about in a COVID world finding this great talent?
Yeah, I actually put a post on LinkedIn and Indeed, and then also through the universities, they use Handshake. So I was actually able to hire a salesperson, my COO, and then a couple interns from universities as well. So one from here in Lincoln, and then one from Creighton University in Omaha. So I would recommend that as a way to find college talent for sure. And also, I asked the universe to send me the right people. I think we don't have a hand in everything. We're not in control. I definitely believe in a higher power that can bring the right people to you. And if you're watching and you're listening and you're open to it, you see the right person, and it's just time to bring them on. Like, whether or not you really have a position for them or not, I created that position for Jen because she just seemed so smart and organized and just had such great experience. And I knew she was going to like take this company to the next level. And I've been so lucky to have her, because she's we've implemented a new CRM together and created really great process. And I think we're delivering way better service because of it. So.
How wonderful. And what a cool lesson there in delegating to others, because you could be doing a great job and you could be running a great business, but if it's all on you and your shoulders, it's almost always short term. You just can't sustain that. So what is it like now that you have these people and you have people that are doing some of the work, not for you, but with you? And so how has it been for you and your family? You still have 2 kids and still running, I'm sure, to events and activities.
For sure. We're busy. We're always busy. We call it TNT time because weeks just fly by and it feels like it's been a month and it's only been like 2 days because so much changes. That's the blessing and curse of being in a startup is you're just like constantly adapting and bringing on new products and bringing on new talent and figuring out like, well, does that shake up the entire role of everybody? Like how do we adjust? So it's so fun. I've never had more fun than the last year of my life. And I think it's just taking those steps. Like I knew I needed people, but I almost just needed somebody to give me permission. It was great to have that business coach to say, well, I'm hearing you say you need people. So why don't we do it? And just taking those steps and every time I make a decision, it's like stepping into a new unknown, that scary world. And I read a great book. It was the story of Phil Knight creating Nike, and it's called Shoe Dog. And I love that book because you think Phil Knight's got it made, he knows what he's doing, but it's amazing to know like how many times he was so close to bankruptcy and he didn't know what he was doing, but he actually just kind of lucked into hiring a few great people. And sometimes that's all it takes. So with that growth and bringing on additional staff, somebody that's kind of an expert in each little part of all those services that we offer, it's really made a big difference for us. I think the community really sees us as someone that has staying power now. It's kind of given the impression that we've been around longer than we really have been. We're far more capable than we ever were. And that is accurate, like when you hire talent, you're just going to have a superior product. So kind of went round in circles there, but it's a challenge to say the least.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that.
You don't know what you're doing and you just have to keep taking those leaps. So jump and grow your wings on the way down.
I love that. We just figure it out. I mean, people do it all the time. We just somehow figure it out. There's that meme that says you think it goes from here to success, and it's really this wiggly, windy, all over the place before you get to success. And I think you're a perfect example of that. So what advice do you have out there for anyone who maybe just wants to start their own business or just take a leap of faith in whatever it is that they're doing? What have you learned, maybe mistakes, and what's your biggest advice to share with those that might be trying to do this out there?
I think it's to face that fear head on. I think there's a lot of people out there with great ideas. They want to start a business. They don't know how to do it and they're scared. A lot of people let that fear stop them and almost, keep them paralyzed in one place. But if you just really start asking yourself, like what's the worst that happens if I try this, and I finally asked myself that, and it was, well, I guess I go back to working for somebody else. That's the worst thing that happens. You can still fall back on your talent that you had before, and you can bring to the table whether it was a failure or not, you still went through something big, like you took on a lot of stress. You took on a lot of, it's just everything that goes into starting a business. So I think people respect that regardless if you turn into the most successful thing overnight or not. But not every business is going to succeed, and you might not get it right the first time. Maybe it's, that wasn't the right concept. You just kind of have to adapt and figure out what your customers really want. I guess mistakes that I've made are, I did hire a salesperson that probably wasn't the best fit. I think that I should have asked a lot more questions. I almost think maybe I got sold by him. And I guess the only advice there is then fail fast. Like you may not hire the perfect person, and not all of the employees are going to work out that you do hire. But yeah, try it out. But if it's not working out, cut your losses and move on. So um, it's okay to make mistakes, but I do think it's important to lean on, take those meetings with anyone that's willing to sort of mentor you or they're in your industry, because they can kind of tell you the things that, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have done this, or you know what, this is actually working really well for us. So I think, this is a good avenue for you. And I guess don't pay the dumb tax twice. If someone else has already made the mistake and they're willing to share that information with you, just listen, because I think it's so true that we all kind of have to step through the same things to get to the end result. But that's not when you celebrate. You don't celebrate when the company is like successful. You have to celebrate when you take the hard steps, when you just say, I'm going to start this company. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the hardest part. So I think there's people out there that just need to hear that too, that they're doing a great job. And I'm already proud of you. Like, you've already taken the hardest step. So
You are so right. And there could be somebody hearing this today that is saying, I needed that. The reminder to face your fears, like you said, reach out to those people that are doing it, that are doing maybe what you want to do, and don't pay the dumb tax twice. I love that. I'm going to use that from now on because that's great advice. We can learn from others. Renee, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to meet with us today. You're a businesswoman. You're an entrepreneur. I know you have a lot of things you could be doing right now. So thank you.
well, thank you. This has been super fun, and it's just been great to work with Windstream. We really are implementing their technology, and we use it to make phone calls every day. And we also have our office suite meetings when we need to meet people virtually, because this is a different time right now, and you have to be able to adapt. And I think that's what this technology has allowed us to do. So we really appreciate you giving us this spotlight to talk about how True North was started, and we're excited to continue the partnership.
Well, you and Kinetic Business, it's a match made in heaven. So we appreciate you very much, and thank you again for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for making the connection with us. Connecting business is exactly what Kinetic Business by Windstream does every day. If you'd like to get in touch, send us a note at connectingbusiness@windstream.com.